everybody. Thanks for being here. And the agenda has the prayers of number 5, but we're going to start it with the prayer. Rajana or Stephanie, which one? Stephanie, okay.
Good morning, everyone. Let us bow our heads for prayer. Mighty God, I just want to thank you for today, Lord. I thank you for your love, your grace, and your mercy. I thank you, Almighty God, that we were able to celebrate 55 years of business, Almighty Father. And as we come before you this morning for our annual general meeting, I pray that you'll preside over today's meeting, Lord. I pray, Almighty God, that everything will go smoothly and that we will be able to continue to grow as a company and to flourish. I pray, Lord God, that you'll bless our business, give our directors insight and knowledge to carry the business forward for another 55 years. Let your will be done, Almighty God, and let your name be glorified, and help us to get home safely at the end of everything. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Stephanie. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kevin O'Brien Chang, Chairman of Fontana Limited, and as such will be Chairman of the meeting. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I would like to welcome you to the 5th Annual General Meeting of Shareholders of Fontana Limited since becoming listed on the Junior Stock Exchange. Ladies and gentlemen, our Secretary, Ms. Denise Douglas, has confirmed that the required quorum of 2 members present in person or by proxy has been met, and I will now call this meeting to order. Let me introduce you to the directors present with us today. At the head table, Ann Chang, Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer. Raymond Therian, Executive Director and Chief Operating Officer. Heather Goldson, Independent Non-Executive Director. Ms. Denise Douglas, our company secretary. Unavoidably absent are Jacqueline Sharp, Independent Non-Executive Director and the Chairman of the Audit and Compliance and Compensation Committees. He's a bit under the weather. And our new Independent Non-Executive Director, Lauren Peart of Blue Dot. They did a lot of work on election last night, so he's pretty tired, understandably. Finally, my last introduction is Mr. Dashan Dodd and Ms. Delcine Kelly, representatives from the audit firm of Crichton Mullings and Associates, the company's current auditors. Okay, the prayers were already said. Hopefully God will bless us, as Stephanie asked. Ladies and gentlemen, let us now proceed with the business of this meeting as set out in the notice. The notice convening the meeting has been circulated to members, and I now propose that we take such notice as having been read. For recording purposes, I request that anyone speaking at this meeting please state his or her name, and I remind members that only registered shareholders or their appointed proxies or representatives can move or second motions, ask questions, and vote. We have provided a microphone for questions and comments from the floor, and we ask that you use it. I now ask the Secretary to proceed with the business of the meeting.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. The accounts and the reports of the directors and the auditors have been circulated previously to all members. And at this point, I call on Mr. Darshan Dodd, the representative of Crichton Mullings and Associates, to read the auditor's report, which may be found on page 49 of the annual report.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Independent Auditor's Report to the members of Fontana Limited report on the audit of financial statements. Opinion. We have audited the accompanying financial statements of Fontana Limited, the company, which is comprised of the Statement of Financial Position as of June 30th, 2023, the Statement of Comprehensive Income, the Statement of Changes in Equity, and the Statement of Cash Flows for the year then ended, and a summary of significant accounting policies and other explanatory notes. In our opinion, the accompanying financial statement give a true and fair view of the financial position of the company as of June 30th, 2023, and of its financial performance and cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standards, IFRS, and the requirements of the Jamaican Companies Act, the Act. Basis for opinion. We have conducted our audit in accordance with international standards and auditing, ISAs. Our responsibilities under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the financial statement section of our report. We are independent of the company in accordance with the International Ethics Standards Board for Accountants International Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants, including International Independent Standards, IESBA Code. We have fulfilled our other ethical responsibilities in accordance with the IESBA Code. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. Key audit matters. Key audit matters are those matters that, in our professional judgment, were of most significance in our audit of the financial statements of the current period. These matters were addressed in the context of our audit of the financial statement as a whole, and in forming our opinion thereon, we do not provide a separate opinion on these matters. Key audit matters: 1, carrying value of inventory. Inventory is reported at 1.2 billion and represents 24% of total assets of the company as of June 30th, 2023. The inventory consists of a large volume of small and seasonal items. Inherently, the large volume of inventory creates a challenge for management to conduct inventory counts throughout the year, which contributes to the risk of inventory being materially misstated. In determining the carrying value of inventory, management focuses on conducting periodic counts on high-value departments from the overall inventory. How was the matter addressed in our audit? Our audit procedures to address the key audit matter relating to the carrying value of inventory included the following: reviewing the company's standard operating procedures in order to assess the effectiveness of internal controls over inventory. We observe stock counts at each of the company's store locations. As a part of this process, we selected samples to conduct our independent counts at each store. The samples from our stock counts were cross-checked against the inventory system, and unresolved variances were extrapolated to the inventory population of each store. Based on the procedures performed, an adjustment of 6.3 million was made to the carrying value of inventory. Number 2, goodwill impairment assessment. The company has goodwill of 165.46 million arising from the acquisition of the Barbican store operations, which represent 3.2% of the total asset as at the year end. The annual impairment assessment requires management's judgment and estimation in determining estimated future earnings from the store, taking into consideration inflation rate, growth rate, and other underlying assumptions. Our audit procedures to address the key audit matter relating to the impairment of goodwill assessment included the following. We have reviewed management's assertions, including the identification of the underlying cash-generating assets. We have assessed and reviewed the store's historical performance and compare actual results to the approved budget. The analysis of the external and internal environments was taken into account in the assessment of the store's performance. Based on the procedures performed, management's assessment of goodwill impairment appears reasonable. Other information. Management is responsible for the other information. The other information comprises information included in the annual report, but does not include the financial statements and our auditor's report thereon. The annual report is expected to be made available to us after the date of the auditor's report. Our opinion on the financial statements does not cover the other information, and we will not express any form of assurance conclusion thereon. In connection with our audit of the financial statements, our responsibility is to read the other information identified above when it becomes available, and in doing so, consider whether the other information is materially inconsistent with the financial statements or our knowledge obtained in the audit, or otherwise appears to be materially misstated. When we read the annual report, if we conclude that there is a material misstatement therein, we are required to communicate with the board of directors. Responsibilities of management and those charged with governance for the financial statements. Management is responsible for the preparation of financial statements that give a true and fair view in accordance with IFRS and the Act, and for such internal control as management determines is necessary to enable the preparation of financial statements that are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error. In preparing the financial statements, management is responsible for assessing the company's ability to continue as a going concern, disclosing, as applicable, matters relating to going concern, and using the going concern basis of accounting unless management either intends to liquidate the company or to cease operations or has no realistic alternative but to do so. The board of directors is responsible for overseeing the company's financial reporting process. Auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the financial statements. Our objectives are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statement as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an auditor's report that includes our opinion. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but it is not a guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with ISAs will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. Material misstatements can arise from fraud or error and are considered material if, individually or in the aggregate, they could reasonably be expected to influence the economic decisions of users taken on the basis of these financial statements. A further description of our responsibilities for the audit of the financial statement is included in the appendix to this auditor's report. This description, which is located at pages 5 to 6, forms part of our auditor's report. Report on additional matters as required by the Act. We have obtained all the information and explanations which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purpose of our audit. In our opinion, proper accounting records have been maintained so far as appears from our examination of those records and the financial statements, which are in agreement therewith, give the information required by the Act in the manner required. The engagement panel on the audit resulting in this independent auditor's report is Larry Mullins. Signed, Crichton Mullins and Associates, Kingston, Jamaica, August 29, 2023. Appendix to the independent auditor's report. As part of an audit in accordance with ISAs, we exercise professional judgment and maintain professional skepticism throughout the audit. We also identify and assess the risk of material misstatements of the financial statements, whether due to fraud or error, design and perform audit procedures responsive to those risks, and obtain audit evidence that is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. The risk of not detecting a material misstatement resulting from fraud is higher than one resulting from error, as fraud may involve collusion, forgery, intentional omissions, misrepresentations, or the override of internal control. We also obtain an understanding of internal control relevant to the audit in order to design audit procedures that are appropriate in the circumstances, but not for the purpose of expressing an opinion on the effectiveness of the company's internal control. We also evaluate the appropriateness of accounting policies used and the reasonableness of accounting estimates and related disclosures made by management. We conclude on the appropriateness of management's use of the going concern basis of accounting and, based on the audit evidence obtained, whether a material uncertainty exists related to events or conditions that may cause significant doubt on the company's ability to continue as a going concern. If we conclude that a material uncertainty exists, we are required to draw attention in our auditor's report to the related disclosures in the financial statements, or, if such disclosures are inadequate, to modify our opinion. Our conclusions are based on the audit evidence obtained up to the date of our auditor's report. However, future events or conditions may cause the company to cease to continue as a going concern. We also evaluate the overall presentation, structure, and content of the financial statements, including the disclosures, and whether the financial statements represent the underlying transactions and events in a manner that achieves fair presentation. We communicate with the Board of Directors regarding, among other matters, the planned scope and timing of the audit and significant audit findings, including any significant deficiencies in internal control that we identify during our audit. We also provide the Board of Directors with a statement that we have complied with relevant ethical requirements regarding independence, and to communicate to them all relationships and other matters that may reasonably be thought to bear on our independence and, where applicable, related safeguards. From the matters communicated with the Board of Directors, we determine those matters that were of most significance in the audit of the financial statements of the current period and are therefore the key audit matters. We describe these matters in our auditor's report unless law or regulation precludes public disclosure about the matters, or when, in extremely rare circumstances, we determine that a matter should not be communicated in our report because the adverse consequences of doing so would reasonably be expected to outweigh the public interest benefits of such communication. This is the end of the auditor's report.
And thank you, Mr. Dodd. I now ask that you take the director's report, which may be found on page 19 of the annual report, as read. Thank you for so agreeing.
I will now ask our Chief Executive Officer, Ann Chang, to make a presentation.
Happy International Women's Day.
know that if you're a mommy, you'll agree that being a mother is, yes, sometimes challenging and difficult, but it's also one of the most rewarding, fulfilling jobs or roles that we could ever have in our life.
Pharmacist at the Fontana location, and I'm here to share with you some information about our dengue awareness.
Happy International Men's Day from our newest location.
Happy International Men's Day. Happy International Men's Day.
Hi guys, we're here at Fontana Waterloo today and I'm so excited because we have something so special lined up. We are decorating and donating a beautiful Christmas tree to the wonderful Mary's Child Home.
Can everybody hear me all right? All right. Welcome to everybody again. It's hard to believe this is our 5th meeting. It feels like we just went public. So let's get started. Mr. Chang already introduced our board, and not present right now is Mr. Bobby Chang, one of the founders of Fontana Pharmacy, the chairman emeritus, so he is unavailable today in person. It's unfortunate that Jackie fell ill. I know she always looks forward to these meetings and she sends her sincere apologies. And we did welcome our newest member, Laren Pert, but everybody understands he works for Blue Dot Communications, and it was a busy day yesterday with the election and it spilled over today, so he sent his regrets as well. So let's take a look since the last time what's happened. We actually have 2 new locations. We have 7 stores when we opened Portmore, but we also opened an additional warehouse in Ferry to help with our operation. So we're technically 9 locations strong when you include the 2 warehouses and the 7 locations. We're covering all of Jamaica for everyone. So what are some key highlights? Obviously, the bulk of our time was taken up really preparing for Portmore. As many of you can understand, it was a huge undertaking, not just the build out, but the hiring, the planning, putting all of that stuff in place. It was a lot of effort, a huge team effort on many, many people's part. And I can honestly say that I think everybody in Fontana contributed to the opening. So we were very busy getting ready for that. Last time I had told you about our new IT system that we had implemented, that we were going to implement, and we did successfully implement it in November 2022. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that, but this was our single biggest IT expenditure in our company's 56 years, and I can tell you truthfully, it was worth every dollar. As I mentioned, we opened our Ferry warehouse. What we found is, obviously, with the Portmore opening 2 locations in Kingston, the bulk of the goods are now that we're importing is really being sent to the east. And so we really needed to open Ferry in order to help with those efficiencies and get the goods out there faster. Can't afford to wait a week. Sometimes we needed the stuff out there in 1 or 2 days, and so we felt this was the best short-term solution. The other great highlight, I think, is we were nominated for 2 chamber awards. One was Best in Business for Large Enterprises, and the second was for our marketing. I'd like to give kudos to Stephanie, our marketing manager, because that's a big, unfortunately, we didn't win either of them, but we were happy to be nominated. And we really congratulate Massey and the JCF. The JCF, if you watch, I mean, they have a pretty good social media account, I'm not gonna lie. So, but we were in good company and we were very honored to just be nominated. So, I know this is a little bit past the June, but because it was such a big deal, I know that all of you want to hear about Portmore. So you'll hear about it in this meeting, and then you'll hear about it next year in the next meeting. Again, our marketing manager, Steph, did a fabulous job with our launch. We had a really successful launch in November. Portmore started off with a bang. Very, very happy. Portmore, I mean, if any of you follow us on social media or anything, you'll see that anytime you post anything, all they are asking is, when you're coming to Portmore, when you're coming to Portmore. So we finally came to Portmore, the Sunshine City, and it's been amazing. We've had an amazing reception, an amazing turnout, and it was a really good move for Fontana. So we have everything that we have at the other locations: a beauty hub, state-of-the-art pharmacy, business center, courier services, and over 200 parking spaces that we only share with Courts and the bank. What's interesting, next year you'll see, is that we are finding some stuff about Portmore that is very different than the other locations. So every time we open a location, it's interesting to see how different they are, even though Portmorians, whatever you want to call them, is it Portmorians, would shop in Kingston, but we're seeing some interesting trends that are actually different than Kingston. Good trends. I really want to talk about the IT investment we made, because it, like I said, that alone was a huge work. And I also would like to give a shout out to Mr. Damian Robinson, who was in charge of the rollout. He's here today. He was really integral in getting this rolled out, and it was really a mammoth task. It was a brand new system rolled out across all the locations, including our warehouse, training, all of that kind of stuff. So why did we do it? Obviously, everything we do is always looking to be more efficient. And some of the amazing things about this system is real-time sales and inventory by location. And I mean, if I sell that orchid today, like right now, I will see it come out of my inventory, and I can see that it was sold at Waterloo or wherever. So I think that's a pretty cutting-edge technology for Jamaica, for anywhere really. We're able to work offline during power cuts. Living in Jamaica, you know that that's something you have to live with. And previously, you'd have to write manual receipts and then put them in. But with this, the cashiers work like normal, and then when we get back online, everything is loaded. To me, that's probably one of the most customer-facing impacts of this new system, something that maybe you don't even realize, but now during power cuts, it's like nothing has even happened. So that's an amazing thing that happens with it. Detailed inventory by location. Again, Mr. Robinson's in charge of inventory, and you can see we have put a huge emphasis on this in the past 5 years, and this really helps us in terms of dead stock, where to move things, values. It's been incredible in really helping to make us a more efficient organization. We have a ton of reports that we can customize. It's really amazing. You want to look at revenue by store, you want to look at on hands by store, you want to compare, like it basically can cut the data every way, right, David? Any question I ask you, you can give me a report for it, correct? Like a really exciting and cool feature also is that our teams can use their phone to scan items. So if you come in and you're like, I really want 6, but I'm only seeing 2, they can scan it, tell you which other locations have it. If the tag is, if the price is not on there, they can scan it and tell you the price. So this was a really great investment for us. It was a lot of, it took a lot of heart and soul, but I think it's paid off dividends for all of us. So, how did we do? I think we had a great year. Revenue was up 15%, profit before taxes 7%, net profit 8%. Our assets grew by 13%, powered by our investment in Portmore, and our market capitalization grew to $13.1 billion. So, I think that was a pretty good year. What do you guys think? So we observed quite a little bit of a shift in how our makeup of our revenue was. You know, as we came out of COVID, the bulk of it was really health that was driving a lot of our growth. But we are seeing a huge growth in our beauty section. And so along with that, we have formed a lot of strategic alliances with local and foreign suppliers to get things that you can't really get here, or to get them in a volume that we were not able to access previously. I think one of the things that we're very good at is adapting to the market and changes in terms of what they want, how do they want to shop, all of that type of stuff. So you can see our gross margins, our gross profit went up to $2.63 billion, a 16% increase, which is, I think, a pretty hefty increase. Gross margin was steady at 36%, and I think that it shows our commitment to, you know, cost management and procurement. Earnings per share increased to 0.52 from 0.49, which again, everything is pointing up, which is always a good trend. Return on equity, 27% this year, a slight decrease, but only by 1%. And our stock ended at $10.49 at the end of June, which is a big jump from the $188 that I hope some of you bought it at. So that's also a big thing. Oh wait, I did have another. I wanted a note on that other one. If you look at if you look at that graph, you'll see that in 5 years we've doubled our revenues, which I think is a pretty amazing feat when you look at it over a 5-year trajectory. So what else happened? Our EBITDA went up. We tripled it in the last 5 years, which I also think is a pretty big feat for 5 years. We paid out 2 dividends, which I know all of you guys were very happy about. Our net assets increased by 13%, and again, a lot driven by Portmore, everything there. So, more good news. So I had mentioned that we have been focusing on inventory. If you listen to Crichton Mullings reviews, it's our single biggest asset. And so as we continue to grow and import more, we have to put more things in place. So Damien and his team have been doing a great job of helping us to manage that over the last 5 years. And you can even see that even though it dipped to 4.2 in terms of inventory turn, we had to get a lot more inventory in to open Portmore. So that is still a big achievement, even though it dipped slightly, it's basically the same. We've even managed to maintain our liquidity, even with all of the investment. Jadale is there, our CFO, saying, yes, that's right. Even with all of the investment, all of the expenditures on building out Portmore, we still see from we opened up an upward trend, which is, I think, a good thing to see. It takes a lot of work behind the scenes to manage that, but we were able to do that. Cash and cash equivalents increased by 4% over 2022, and the main source of our liquidity is from operations. We move a lot of cash and credit card through the stores. So maybe some of you want to know, well, how are you guys doing compared to the rest of people in retail? And if you look at this chart, you can see that we're doing much better. In the green is the retail for each quarter in Jamaica, and then in red is Fontana. And you can see that there is not one quarter that we are not significantly higher than what the rest of retail is doing. So we outperformed the retail. They only saw 2.3% growth, and we saw 15% growth. I think it, again, is a testament to our diversity, our mix, and having things when others don't. You know, we're the one-stop shop is really true for us. Shareholder equity also rose by $280.4 million, a 13% increase, despite us paying out a significant dividend to our shareholders. So on to the, now you got all the numbers, so on to the fun stuff. Our core is our team, and we continue to grow. We're 530 people strong, and this chart sort of tells you where the shift is moving. So Kingston, which includes Ferry and the 2 locations, is becoming very quickly the bulk of where our team is. Second is Montego Bay, which also includes the warehouse. And then you can see the other pieces right there. So in the 56 years that we've been in business, you can see the shift from us being all outside, going into Kingston 11 years ago, and you can see that the East is really driving a lot of our growth. So it's been challenging. Anybody that has a business know that the human factor has been very challenging to retain, to hire, to do all of that stuff. So we've been trying very hard through salaries, job reclassifications. We introduced a mentorship program to try and instill the culture and increase the knowledge base. Multiple employee recognition and award programs like Employee of the Quarter, Never Sick Late awards, all kinds of stuff. Is it enough? We're still having problems, but we're trying. We increase the incentives, so our teams get a bonus twice a year. We increased our employee benefits. We have introduced more wellness programs. We introduced a breakfast program that we continue to make more robust, and we also increased our discretionary spending on employee-related benefits. So we're doing a lot, and we're growing. It's hard to believe we're over 530 people right now. So the rest of this now is just to show you, you saw some pictures, like just some fun stuff that we do to try and keep morale and, break up the monotony at the store level. Crazy Hat Day, Rep Your School. We always celebrate Men's Day, Women's Day, Take Style Out. They love to get dressed up and celebrate the stuff, anything to not have to wear their uniforms. We did a lot of other stuff. We have dance competitions, we have scavenger hunts, Reggae Day, all of that kind of stuff. Another very important initiative we launched was our Fontana Foundation. And this right now is funded mainly through donations at the store level. So we are relying on the generosity of our customers, and it's been very good. So we award 2 scholarships every year. One is at the University of West Indies in Mona. It's to a young man in business. It's the Lucas Terrian Memorial Scholarship. So we have 2 recipients so far, and this carries them through the 4 years. So every year we introduce one. This is the 2nd year, so we have 2, and so every year, at one point we'll have 4 going through it every time. The other scholarship is obviously for pharmacy. We want to ensure that we're contributing positively to the field that we're in. So we have a University of Technology, and interestingly, they've both been women. That's just by, I don't know, those were the best candidates. And this is the Angela Chang Memorial Scholarship. So this is where we have focused our foundation efforts on right now. Contributions through the store, which Fontana matches, and applying it at the college level. We also have our own employee scholarship awards outside the foundation because we would never be collecting money for the foundation to fund our employees. This one is for Fontana, and we've been doing it for a number of years now, and we have, first it was GSAT, now it's PEP. We also have high school and university, and you can see some pictures there. We always have a nice fun luncheon. All the kids come down. We take pictures with them. We award them their checks, and their parents come in. It's amazing. The parents are just so proud and happy. And one of our employees, I think, she has had 3 children get the scholarships. I mean, she broke down in tears at the last luncheon, but it's really rewarding to see that. And it's something that I think we're really proud of when we continue to increase it and expand it each year. The other very big initiative that we've done, we're in our 7th year now, is our Fontana Wishing Tree, where we give gifts out to the various children homes. So this year we added Portmore. Portmore actually doesn't have any children homes, so we had to go to Spanish Town, but still it's through the Portmore branch. And this year we gave out 192 gifts to children at Christmas that otherwise would not have any. So it's an initiative that we're very proud of, and our customers continue, as well as our employees, to contribute to this. Another thing we started that when you got into Kingston was, Barbican is we're located in a little bit of a volatile area, I would say. So one of the things we've always done is New Year's Day we're closed. It's the one day that nobody wants to come out shopping, so all the branches are closed. And we do a treat for them, over 200 goodie bags, and it has stuff like food items, school supplies, personal care, and it's something that they really, really look forward to. And what's interesting is Barbican is one of the highest in terms of the Fontana Foundation donations, and I think it's because of that sense of community that we're also very committed to them. It's Barbican and Montego Bay. The customers just seem more generous. This I'm going to go through quickly just to show some other, we do a lot of other small sponsorships. We always try to do a little bit in each parish that we're in, you know, that sense of community. One of the big things we did this year before opening Portmore was our graffiti competition. So I don't know if you don't follow us on social media, but what we did was, we always try to support the arts also. We opened up this contest to do, we had a zinc fence around Portmore, and we said it would be so much fun to do this contest and like sort of draw more attention to the location. So they submitted drawings, and then they voted on the best ones, and then the three of them actually executed it on site at the fence. So it was great marketing, it was great sense of community, it was a great support of the arts, it was very successful, and the winner was Mr. Courtney Haynes, and he got $250,000 for his design. So the others, just a lot more stuff that we do, just listed here. All the good things that Fontana is helping out in all baskets, and one of the things we always do is the read-along day. The marketing team goes and reads at all the schools and some of the other locations also. So we have really stepped up, I think, what we offer in in the community services. So what's our outlook? Obviously, the preparations for Portmore and growing the Portmore brand as well as revenues there. We're obviously committed to more growth, innovation, and value to all of you, our stakeholders. We're continuing to introduce new roles as we continue to grow. We obviously need bigger teams. So over the last year, we added a finance manager to help support the CFO, to help with cost control, streamlining accounting process. He's right here, Denzi. He's our newest member. We have a manager store operations to help manage the liaison between corporate and the stores, and that was Ms. Nicole Chang right there. And then we added a loss prevention officer. As your inventory goes up, so does your theft. So we've put somebody in place to really help us both as a customer and as for employees. So that's another, so we added those 3 roles in the last year. But our big plan for this year is to continue to rely on technology and to introduce HR and accounting software. It's slated for this year, and it's really to help us. We understand the role of technology in helping us to become more efficient, and so those are the next 2 big things. So we also will be, because of Portmore and everything else, we really want to celebrate our 55th gala last year, but there just were not enough hands or time to do it, so we're going to do that this year. And I think that's it. Thank you, everybody, for the support as usual over the years, and have a great day.
Thanks for that excellent presentation, CEO. I will now invite the members to the question and answer session. Any questions? None whatsoever? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. We miss Mr. Strudwick. Hope he is well. Ladies and gentlemen, we have heard your, well, okay. Over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, on a show of hands, we will vote on the resolutions at this meeting. To receive the reports of the directors and auditors and the audited accounts of the company for the financial year ended June 30th, 2023. To consider and if thought fit, pass the following resolution. Be it resolved that the reports of the audited accounts of the company for the financial year ended June 30th, 2023, together with the reports of the directors and auditors thereon, be and are hereby adopted. Would a member please propose the motion? Would someone second motion, please? Huh? Mr. Sibbles? Sibbles is the name? Okay. Those in favor, please indicate by raising your hand. Those against? So chair will declare the motion. I declare the motion
carried.
In accordance with Article 105 of the Company's Articles of Incorporation, the directors retiring by rotation shall retire from office and, being eligible, offer themselves for re-election. These directors are Kevin O'Brien Chang, Jacqueline Sharp, Heather Golson. Be it resolved that the directors retiring by rotation be re-elected by a single resolution. Would a member please propose the motion? A member please propose the motion. Mr. Sibbles? Some seconder, please. The directors can. Don't you have a shareholder? Those in favor, please indicate by raising your hand. Those against?
I declare the motion carried.
Be it resolved that Kevin O'Brien Chang, Jackie Sharp, and Heather Golson be and are hereby re-elected as directors of the company. Will a member please propose the motion? Would someone second the motion, please? Those in favor? Against?
I declare the motion carried. Ladies and gentlemen, in accordance with Article 101, the directors appointed since the last annual general meeting shall retire from office and, being eligible, offer themselves for re-election. Since the date of the notice on September 29, 2023, Lauren Peart was appointed director on January 1, 2024, and was not included in the notice. We can at this meeting elect Director Peart if there is no dissenting voice, or elect him at the next annual general meeting in 2025. Thank you for agreeing.
Be it resolved that the election of Director Lauren Peart be considered. Can a member propose the motion, please? Would someone second? Those in favor? Those against? Be it resolved that Director Lauren Peart, appointed since the last annual general meeting, be elected as director of the company. Would a member please propose the motion? Seconder? Those in favor? Those against?
I declare the motion carried.
Be it resolved that the interim dividend of 10 cents per share paid on December 14th, 2022 be and is hereby ratified. Would a member please propose the motion? Seconder, please. Those in favor? Those against? Be it resolved that the interim dividend of 20 cents per share paid on June 5th, 2023 be and is hereby ratified. A proposer, please. Seconder. Those in favor? Against?
I declare the motion carried.
The next item on the agenda is a resolution regarding the remuneration of the directors of the company and is as follows. Be it resolved that the amount shown in the audited accounts of the company for the year ending June 30th, 2023 as fees of the directors for their services as directors be and are hereby approved. A proposal, please. Seconder? Those in favor? Those against? Messrs. Crichton Mullins and Associates has agreed to remain in office as the company's auditors, and we wish to retain them based on their satisfactory performance. So I will now ask someone to propose the resolution. Be it resolved that the remuneration of the auditors, Crichton Mullins and Associates, who have signified their willingness to continue in office, be such as may be agreed between the directors of the company and the auditors. Would a member please propose? Seconder? Those in favor? Those against?
I declare the motion carried.
Thank you. Okay, Chair.
Okay, closing remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the business of the annual general meeting. On behalf of the board and management of Fontana, we thank you for your continued commitment to the company and look forward to seeing you next year as we again report on our stewardship of the investment that you have made in this great company.